So one of the best lures we've had out here is the Shiver Minnow. A couple different sizes that we're using. We're actually using the number 1 and the number 2, a little bit bigger size number 2 there. As far as colors, it seems like something like gold like this. You know, Chemo's catcher is actually gold with a little bit of orange belly. Or one that's totally different is something like Bloody Nose. It's got a lot of white in it. When you're actually using the Shiver Minnow, one little tip I can give you is you'll notice that I've got the knot on the top of the little ring there. If you just simply slide that knot all the way to the back, you'll find that that Shiver Minnow actually lays with its nose down a little bit, and that'll actually help with the glide, and it actually seems to trigger a few more fish. Now, as far as tipping the Shiver Minnow, you start with a whole minnow. I go through the top of the head because it's a little bit tougher, but then I actually pinch it off so there's about 3/4 of an inch of minnow there. Make sure you squeeze it a little too, because that'll actually break the little air bladder in there and make that thing hang a little bit nicer down there. Now, as far as cadences, we're actually using a couple different cadences. I would call the one that Chase is using kind of the more conventional one. That is, maybe you start with the bait on the bottom, you give it a good hard snap, and you let it just run right back down to the bottom. Basically trying to draw that fish in. But don't hesitate also just to reel up a little, maybe a foot or so off the bottom, and do the same kind of thing. Sometimes that'll draw them in. Now, once they're drawn in, then you actually got to get them to bite. And the way you do that is just start shaking that bait and lifting. Lift it a little bit and then pause. And when it pauses, a lot of times that fish will run up and grab it. If it runs up but doesn't grab it, shake it a little more and lift it a little higher. See if you can get them up to actually bite that bait. Sometimes you'll end up 5-6 feet off the bottom. Now, the cadence I'm using is a little bit different in that I'm actually running that bait to the bottom. What I'm doing is giving that same hard pull so that Shiver Minnow jumps out to the side, but then instead of letting it crash to the bottom or return to its same spot, what I'm doing is keeping my rod up just a hair higher, and then I'm catching it. It's coming back, it's stopping, I'm catching it, and then I slowly drop it back down to the bottom. And what's interesting, I think, is sometimes that jump out and glide back draws them in, and then when they see it slowly dropping like that, they come up and bite it, tunk, a nice hard tick bite. So it's a really great bite. So a couple different sizes of Shiver Minnows, a couple different colors, a couple different cadences. Mix them all up, and you're going to catch some fish at Lake of the Woods.